Sean, how are you feeling after the weekend? Obviously, it was pretty crazy, even by Newcastle standards, with the goalkeeping situation. Now that it's gone, dust has settled, how are you feeling?
Yeah, obviously, it's happy with that. It's obviously unhappy about the result, but happy it's sort of done and dusted, and sort of focus on the final. And obviously, with Portby getting suspended, I think that was probably the big thing to come out of the game. And yeah, I was gutted for him, and he's such an important part of our team on and off the pitch, and to be missing him, he will be massive. But yeah, obviously got Lars probably to come in, and he's played a lot of games, and he's played in some big games, and bigger than probably 95% of the team. So he's not a bad one to come in, and yeah, we're looking forward to the game.
I suppose you can look at it like that as a positive, because everyone's kind of looking at 2018 Liverpool, the mistakes that he made in the Champions League final, but for a guy who's like third or fourth choice goalkeeper, you don't often get someone with that sort of experience.
No, not at all. And I think I've seen a stat on one of the seasons he had, I think he pretty much the most clean sheets in the Champions League, and I've not played a single game in Europe, so who am I? You know what I mean? It's like he's played such a high level, and obviously we've got aspirations to play where he's played, so I think yeah, really confident in him, and he's been a big part behind the scenes actually, and obviously not got as much credit probably because of how good Portby's been, but yeah, like I said, everyone's got all the confidence in the world in him coming in, and what a great opportunity for him to come and play in a cup final.
You were 1.5 when Newcastle were last in a cup final, which pretty much just sums up the situation. How do you feel about going back down there as a player?
Yeah, it's crazy. I probably thought it was never going to happen, to be honest with you. But yeah, like I said, just really proud and in such a privileged position to do it for the people of where I'm from. And yeah, like I said, I think if you asked anyone at the club a year and a half ago before the takeover if you thought this was going to happen, probably would have laughed at you. So it's a great opportunity, and obviously got some big players coming back hopefully, and yeah, like I said, a game we're really looking forward to.
Amazing turnaround for the club, as you say, but amazing turnaround for you within that individually. When was the point throughout the last sort of year and a half since the takeover that you thought I could be a big part of this moving forward?
I think from the first day the manager came in, and he sort of set his ambitions, and he showed us his philosophy and how he wants to play. And I remember the first night going home and speaking and thinking a lot of what he wants to do, I think I'm quite good at, in terms of it suits my strengths as a player. And then obviously probably didn't play as much as I wanted to when he first came in, but obviously with where the team was, it was all about the team, and try to show as much as I could, or as much as I can, that I was a team player. And yeah, obviously trying to sort my contract out, and spoke to him a lot, and he was the first manager that had ever called us, and it was so weird because he rang us, and I sort of looked, and I was like, I panicked a little bit. I was like, what am I meant to do? And but yeah, he just made it so normal, and we've got a really good relationship, and yeah, I trust him, and hopefully he's starting to trust me more and more with performances, and yeah, like I said, he's played such a big part in probably saving my Newcastle career, and yeah, I'll be forever grateful to him.
And is that unusual for a manager to call like that?
Like I said, I'm not really sure. I'd imagine some players do, but obviously maybe being a bit younger, it sort of never happened. And yeah, obviously I think there was a bit of speculation about something. He rang us up at like 10:30, I was in bed, and he'd rang us 3 or 4 times, and obviously I'd missed him, and I started panicking. I was like, oh no, I'm out the door or what? But no, he was great with me, and yeah, like I said, I love working with him every day, him and his staff, and they've really brought out the best in me, I would say, and not just me, a lot of the squad as well, and yeah, just trying to sort of repay them now.
I just asked Dan a moment ago, how different does it feel as a player compared to a fan in the build-up to? I know you've obviously not been to Wembley as a fan, but now that you're a player, you're in with the bricks here, how different does it feel ahead of a game of this magnitude?
It's a hard question. Obviously, I was a bit of a fan last year of Mansfield when I went to watch Matty at Wembley, but it's probably a bit of a different scale now. But yeah, like I said, thoroughly enjoyed that day, and I remember speaking with my pals that day and thinking, could you imagine if Newcastle ever got to a final, what it would be like, and to be sat here, whatever it is, 8 months later, and it's yeah, it's really special, and like I said, a day that I thought would probably never happen, and a day I've got to make the most of, but I know it's going to be a tough game there, a good side, and obviously great manager, and some really good individual players as well, and it's not going to be easy, but it's a cup final, and anything can happen.
I think you and Dan were both emotional at the semi, weren't you? He said he felt emotional when he came out, and then you in your post-match interview afterwards, you could see it. You looked like you were kind of welling up at the time because you realised what it meant. How emotional do you think you'll be ahead of the final, and how difficult is it if you get like that to try and block that out and concentrate in the game?
Yeah, I think, especially this week, I think for me personally, I don't know how the lads are doing it, but trying to probably think about it as little as possible, really. Like you said, the semi-final was so emotional just because being at home in a second leg and you walk out and you see the flags, and it was such a big game, and I remember sort of locking eyes with Bernie in the warm-up even, and it was so emotional, and even once we'd scored and he was sort of screaming in my face and telling us how proud and stuff he was of us, and yeah, it's probably the most emotional night I've had as a player, and obviously to hear him say that to me, and he's someone I've looked up to for a long time, obviously being from Newcastle, yeah, it meant the world to me, and we were sort of laughing after, and we played against each other. He was at Wigan, I was at Blackpool, and if someone had said with that night, with probably 2,000 people watching, this is they're going to play in a semi-final together and get to a final with Newcastle, I think we probably would have laughed at you. So yeah, it's a special group we've got, and yeah, just looking to make more memories.
Do you feel that with what's gone on over the last few years, and with you being in and out of the team, you mentioned the loan spell there as well, do you think it means a bit more to you? Do you feel you're realising it, you're feeling it a little bit more because you maybe thought you might have been on your way out at one stage?
Yeah, probably. I think obviously never, especially under the previous manager, maybe he was a bit in and out, and probably didn't have his full backing, really, I would say, and it's always hard to play when you're probably like that. Like I said, since the first day the manager's walked in, I've just sort of everything he said, I've just sort of like agreed with it, and quite similar in terms of obviously how we see the game and how we think the game should be played, and yeah, he's just done a good job, I'd say, of building everyone up day by day and getting the most out of them, and probably getting more out of them than probably individuals thought they had in them. So yeah, like I said, he's such a special person, and to be able to be representing him in a cup final is really special, and obviously just trying to do him proud as well.
Does he make you want to sort of leave sweat on the shirt? Does he make you want to sort of give?
Yeah, he does, and because like I said, I didn't know if I was staying or if I was going. To be honest, when he came in, I had 6 months left on my contract, and then it was funny because maybe in your head you thought if before the takeover maybe it was time for something new, and he came in, and then it was like overnight my thought process changed, and I thought I've got 6 months to impress this manager. If not, like that's end of your Newcastle career, and yeah, like I said, I just try to enjoy every day, and obviously got the contract sorted, and I felt a lot more settled and stuff, and yeah, just had a big smile on my face ever since then, really, and I think you can see that in performances, and yeah, a lot more free and a lot more happy, and I think yeah, like I said, just loving life at the minute.
I was going to say, you've had a smile on your face as you sat down, even talking to us, even talking to us guys.
I know but like I said, it's probably something that I thought would never happen. Obviously, it should be Popey sat here. He should be the one that should be speaking ears, really, instead of me, and because of how important he is and how good he's been. So the fact I'm sat here is probably I don't want to be here, to be honest, because I feel it should be him. Yeah, but like I said, it's a chance to speak about a cup final and stuff like that, and like I said, I never thought that would happen in my lifetime, especially as a player. So yeah, like I said, really privileged to be in this position.
Hi Sean, do you sense, obviously as a supporter, the disappointment following Saturday with obviously the situation regarding Nick, and what would you say to supporters about Loris and Mark and whoever plays, because obviously, you know, they were nervous about the final already anyway. That's, I guess, added to the anxiety.
Yeah, I think I'd say what I said before, really, in terms of Loris has played at the top level, and he's obviously been really successful at the top level. I don't think one game should define anyone's career, and we say it every day how good he is, and to be honest, since the first day he's came in, I remember a lot of people were looking like he should really be somewhere probably playing, to be honest. Like he's better than sort of being sat here. But yeah, like I said, we're really lucky to have someone like him step in and be able to play. Something we're really fortunate to have, and yeah, like I said, he's a big part of our dressing room, Lars, and gets on with everyone, and the manager's done a good job, especially with outfield players, of no matter who plays, You can sort of rotate people in and out, and the performance levels of the team don't change. So I'd imagine with the goalkeeper it'll be exactly the same. And like I said, it's a great day for him to come and play in a cup final for Newcastle, and hopefully win a trophy.
You talked about having to try and block the noise out this week. Is a big part of that putting your phone on do not disturb, and sort of avoiding friends and family and stuff like that?
Not as much friends and family. Just trying to, obviously there's a Wembley group chat, and they're buzzing in that all the time, so I've had to put that on mute a couple of times, and you don't want to see that popping up all the time. But like I said, I try and keep it as similar as possible. I was lucky last night, there was ice hockey games on early, so from 6 o'clock till whatever time I went to bed, I just watched that all night, and that was an easy way to switch off last night. So like I said, it's something I'm trying not to think about, because you don't want to be burnt out by the time you get to the game. But on the other hand, how do you not think about it? It's such a big game, and the biggest game for the last how many years for the club, and like I said, one we're looking forward to.
You must get the sense of sort of how proud those who know you, those who've known you, as you've grown up, are of you. I know we spoke to your old PE teacher when it was sort of confirmed that you were going to Wembley, and he was really emotional. He was really proud for you. That must be nice to feel, to hear. Yeah,
it is, because obviously those were the people who helped you when you were younger, and not even them, but even family and stuff. And it's easy when times are good, everyone wants to be your friend and everyone wants to speak to you, but sometimes when it's not going as well, there's not as many people around, and I found that out the hard way, I would say. And like I said, forever grateful to my closest friends and family that they were there in the difficult times, and hopefully now you're past that, and everything's way more positive and a lot more happy, and now you can sort of spend these special moments with them, and because they're the people that really deserve it.
You'll know probably more than anyone how sort of anticipation's in the air, how excited Tyneside is for Wembley. Do you allow yourself to imagine what it'll be like if you win? What the town will be like?
I said this before, I don't think people will believe us, but I honestly haven't. Obviously we know, especially the lads from here, we know what it will be like, and it'll be absolute carnage in the city. But we also know that it's going to be a really tough game, and if you start getting ahead of yourself, I think the game will probably just pass you by, and we've got to make sure we're right at it. And obviously a disappointing result of the weekend, so we've got to bounce back from that. And but obviously we've got players coming back hopefully, and like I said, when we're a team and everyone's together, we feel we're really a good side and difficult to beat, and but we'll have to be at our very best to beat them.
Do you take sort of positives from obviously the 0-0 draw with Man United at Old Trafford earlier in the season? Do you know that you can match them?
Yeah, obviously it was a tough game. I thought both sides had chances. I thought we started the game pretty well, and I think we hit the post and bar a couple of times, and but towards the end they had chances as well. Obviously they've got important players coming back as well, so hopefully both teams will be at the strongest, and it'll be a really good game. Like I said, one I think both will be really looking forward to playing in. And like I said, to test yourself against some of the best players in the world still is something that I'm really proud to be doing, and like I said, it'll be a really tough game, but one we're looking forward to.
And since the takeover, do you hope that this is the first of many cup finals to come?
Yeah, I think I was saying this before, I think for us as a group, I think we know where the club's going, and eventually we'll be in cup finals hopefully every season, and success will be a given. But hopefully to be the first team to be able to get there, I think it'll be really special. I don't think anyone from the outside especially thought this team could or would be the team that was going to win a trophy and do something special, but inside we were really quietly confident, I would say, and we've got some really good individual players, and obviously you bring in Bruno, who I think for me is one of the top players in the Premier League. Probably the club won't like us saying that because people will be looking, but and then you bring Sven in, and he's just added to it, and how good he is, and like I said, when we're together and we're a group and do what the manager asks, we're a really good side, and difficult to play against, I would say.
Time for one more, please, if that's all right.
Sean, just a couple from me. I mean, first of all, who of the Longstaff family will be there at Wembley with you? Who was for?
How long we got? I can't name them all, can I?
Just now you've got that box now.
I know. I got lucky actually with the tickets because I was panicking. But yeah, it's I think there's 25, 26 going down, and I think there's a lot more going down without tickets as well. So I think it'll be a good day. And like I said, we just need to make it as special as possible for them, and hopefully for them and for us a day we'll never forget.
And your dad and your brother, obviously.
They were in there. They got in there early, but it's more just sort of my nana and granddad who went to every game, and whether it was away at Wimbledon when I was playing for Blackpool, and that's a long journey from Newcastle. So the fact that they'll be there, especially my mum, my sister, and too many to name, to be honest. But like I said, a lot of people going down, and a lot of the people I think are closest to me, which is really nice.
You know, as Newcastle fans, optimism levels can tank a little at times, and they have a little bit over the last few weeks about this final. Can you boost them up again, please, and remind us why Newcastle stand a very good chance of winning?
To be honest, I think whatever it is, a week, 2 weeks don't define a period of work, I would say. And like I said, we've got Bruno coming back in, who will be a massive boost to us and probably makes everything tick a little bit. And like I said, Will's back fully fit, and with Alex, and I'm not sure who else is going to be back, but like I said, we're a really confident group, and I think the style we're playing, the way we play, is really hard to play against. Like I said, we're speaking, and we feel like we're a game away from putting a lot of the chances we've been creating in the net. So I think hopefully that happens on Sunday, and it can be a good day.
What, as a local lad who's going to be playing in the cup final on the weekend, what makes this place so special, the connection between the players and the fans that all of you guys are talking about? Yeah,
I think obviously for me and Bernie it's probably a little bit different, but we know how hard every person in the stands works during the week to get a ticket for the game, and I think it's not like that everywhere else in the country. I think what we do on a Saturday really does affect their week, and I think it's a pressure, but it's a really nice pressure to have. And you can sort of see the joy, and when the city is doing well, it's because the football team's doing well, and you can feel the buzz around the whole place. And like I said, it's sort of the fact that we know how hard each fan works to get in the stadium, and it's only right for us to give that back on the pitch and work as hard as possible and make the games enjoyable as possible for them to watch.